Hi, my name is Kelly from Kelly's Tutoring, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the question, are the 2021 exams really cancelled? We've all seen it in the headlines, we've all read it in the news. The summer 2021 GCSE and A-level exams have been cancelled. But is that really true? What has happened is the summer 2021 exams that are typically conducted in an exam hall and are externally marked have been cancelled. But that does not mean that exams are cancelled. Students will still be expected to sit end of year exams. They will be conducted in-house, as it were. Teacher assessments are going to be taking place instead. So what does that mean for your child, your teenager? It means they should still be preparing as if they were sitting their summer exams. They should be completing coursework, homework, classwork as best as they can, because this will help them to prepare for the examination. So if it's going to be a teacher-based assessment, well, what will that look like? Well, it's probably going to look like a controlled assessment. A controlled assessment was introduced to replace coursework for some subjects. And what that means is typically the exam board will release a task. And then this task is completed in supervised conditions, typically in a classroom with no help. And then it is externally marked by the examiners. Now this is probably not going to take place because of the pandemic. There's been lots of disruption and students from different parts of the country have been impacted more or less, and so they're leaving it to the discretion of the teachers. So what's most likely going to happen is that the teachers will come up with a task. Now the exam board might actually give them some tasks to choose from. So therefore you've got this happy medium where the exam board sends some tasks that can be done. The teachers can therefore choose from the tasks available. The exam board will also give some example work so they know what criteria they're going for. And then it will be held again in controlled conditions. So it will be completed predominantly in class under supervised conditions. There'll be little help and they may offer resources for the students to use to help them with their work. And again, marking is predominantly by the teachers, but some will be sent off to the examiners to make sure that the marks are fair and standardized. And the other option is that the teacher comes up with the tasks themselves and the external examples just release some sample work so that they know what the task must, the criteria the tasks must meet, but the teachers actually come up with it. The teachers then supervise the students in classroom or about how to approach the task, but students are able to take it home. There is some help and feedback available as well, so that students have the opportunity to improve it. And again, teachers mark it, but a sample again is sent off to the external examiners so they can make sure that the marking is on par, that it is standardized and that it is fair. So there's still all to play for. So if your teenager is feeling demotivated or disheartened, well, reassure them that they will be assessed. And this form of assessment is a way to test them fairly. It isn't a way to trip them up, and it's not to make it easier either, because at the end of the day, the teachers want to make sure that their students are prepared for the long term. If students are continuing their education, whether it be at college, sixth form, university, BTEC, they want to make A-levels. They want to make sure that they are able to cope with the academic rigor of the next stages in their academic career. Equally, if they are leaving education and going into work, they want to make sure that they have the skills that these courses typically give their students. So they want to make sure that it still is in alignment with the GCSE or the A-level or the BTEC criteria, but they want to make sure that it meets students where they are. So that means then what you could do is to encourage your child to complete everything as best they can. Encourage your child to be in communication with their teachers so their teachers know what is happening for them. And the chances are, if your child is experiencing, difficulty in it, the chances that others are as well. And if the teacher gets a clearer understanding of what is, what students are finding difficult, they can then adjust what they're doing to help accommodate that, or to give them extra guidance to lift them up as well. So overall then, are the summer 2021 exams cancelled? The answer is no, they're not. Yes, the external exam hall condition type of exam is cancelled, but there are still exams happening. Your child still has everything to play for. And on top of that, remember that if your child does not get the grade that they want, they can resit. They can either resit their GCSEs in November if it's a core subject, or indeed they can sit it in January of 2022 or the summer of 2022. And A-level students will also have the opportunity to sit their exam in the summer of 2022 as well. So it's important to keep encouraging them, especially if it's something that they want to do. Then, there's still everything to play for. Now, if you still feel that your GCSE student or GCSE child is struggling with their English language examination, then what I'm actually doing is offering a 12-week program that commences next week. And they're going to be small classes to help prepare for the GCSE English language assessment. And what I'm going to be doing is walking them through all of the key core components of the exam. Now, I know they're not sitting this summer exam, but they will still be using the same techniques from the exam in teacher-controlled assessments. So what we plan on doing is taking them through creative writing, looking at different genres, different modes, so that they know how to write stories, how to write descriptions, how to write speeches and articles and blogs, and not just to pass an exam, but so that they can apply it to everyday situations. So most higher education and most employment nowadays requires you to be able to write to a formal standard and to different modes and to different purposes. And therefore, we look at not just, what is creative writing and writing imaginatively, but actually how to change the tone, the voice to suit the target audience. How do you know about key words that will really help to, spark the interest of your employer, your employee? If you start your own business, you want to be able to, inspire your clients, so you need to be able to write for them. If you are, writing for a job application, you need to know what they're looking for and how to tailor, your CV, your letter, your cover letter for them. So we take apart the creative writing and put it in real life situations, but also we look at what the exam boards want as well, because again, they are going to be sitting teacher assessments, but it's also to take them beyond that as well. On top of that, we will be looking at language, and I love language. We're going to look at, the grammar. We're going to look at imagery. We're going to look at the meaning, the connotations, how devices are used for effect, how language is put together to create a feeling or thought in their readers. And we're going to be breaking it down in terms of its grammar components as well, so that students will be able to how to put it together themselves, and again for academic writing, professional writing, and even personal writing as well. And then we're going to be looking at the literary aspects. So we're going to be looking at all the literary devices, and we're going to look at that from the lens as well of the social historical context as well, because part of the GCSE component is understanding 19th century and 20th century texts. Why? Because they want to help encourage students to realize how the culture and the times can actually impact the writing style and the ideas, the themes that are explored as well. And we'll also be looking at 21st century writings as well. And by doing that, we can help break it down into its, rhetorical devices and how actually writers are able to persuade, convince, and argue. So it's really impactful and relevant, analysis that we're going to be conducting. And on top of that, it will be encouraging and nurturing and motivating. And the reason for that is because I understand that the pandemic has, caused a lot of disruption in learning, and it must be incredibly demoralizing, especially if, you are in education and you're used to a certain routine and you actually enjoy it, then to have that disruption and to feel like you are not in control is very disempowering. And so one of the things that this 12-week program will do is to lift and motivate and empower students, empower your child, so that they feel that they are in control of their grade, so they can get constructive feedback about what they need to do to improve. So they will always be given actionable steps, and they will see the results through improved comments from their teachers, improved classwork, and then improved grades when it comes to the assessments at the end of the 12 weeks. And they will also be able to have the knowledge and reassurance as well of the options available to them, regardless of the exam and the outcome. And they will feel confident and good about themselves and their studies because they know that they have prepared fully. And on top of that, they will also gain greater independence and a sense of responsibility, because they will be able to interact and participate in an online program where they will have to show up, and they will be able to participate, and it will inform what they're doing in their classrooms at school, even if it's remote learning as well. And they will be able to feel a sense of freedom and experiment in these classes, because they will have that reassurance and comfort that this is not going to form their grade. Whereas a lot of students are feeling quite anxious that because it's teacher assessments, everything they do is going to be used to help come up with an exam grade. Because again, for example, if they are unable to sit the final teacher assessments because of illness, because that happens, when students sit the summer 2021 exams, that could have happened. It happens, every year, where students go to sit the summer exams in June and May, June, and they're unwell, so they miss that, and so they go by the mock results. And so students are afraid, well, what if they are ill? What if for whatever reason they can't sit that exam? And then they go by classwork, mocks, and things like that. So having this online program to supplement that allows them to feel that they can really push themselves and not have that fear of, oh, this might be used against me, as it were. And they know that they will be supported and encouraged, and they will get feedback, and then it will actually translate to their schoolwork. So actually what they'll find is that their schoolwork and their school participation is enriched. And if you would like to find out more about that, then please click the link below, and we'll give you all the information. If you click on the link below, then it will give you the information to sign up. It will also give you the testimonials from students who have exceeded their expectations in their GCSEs and A-levels and have gone on actually, to university and gone on to have wonderful, fruitful careers. And it also will give you some parent feedback as well, what parents have experienced from working with me. And so then you can decide, well, actually, if this is something that you want to consider, so you have control over your GCSE English language grade, then you can sign up, and then we can arrange a free consultation so that we can then talk on the phone and get to know each other better, so we can make sure it's the best fit, because time is obviously of the essence here. And that is why I've carefully crafted this program to be 12 weeks, so it literally meets students where they are now and prepares them for the end result, which is the teacher assessments. And that's what it's designed for. And it also gives you some background information about me and reassurance that, well, this is not just a panic-induced program. This is a carefully crafted program designed for online learning and designed to help students in their final 3-month preparation for their GCSEs. So click on the link below to find out more and take back control of your GCSE English language grade today. Bye for now.